My name is Caroline. I'm 34, and I balance risk for a living. Last Tuesday, my daughter's third-grade teacher called me in before pickup. She said it was about Maddie's journal. She slid a lavender notebook across the table, the one with the peeling unicorn sticker on the front. I knew that notebook. Maddie carried it everywhere. She slept with it tucked under her pillow on school nights. She'd had it since second grade, and the cover was soft from handling. I opened to the flagged page and read 3 lines in my 8-year-old's careful handwriting. Grandma says soon I won't have to live with Mommy anymore. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I read 2 more pages, stood up, thanked Ms. Reyes, and drove straight to my mother's house. I didn't call ahead. I didn't trust myself to speak calmly if I did. I drove with both hands on the wheel and the notebook on the passenger seat, and tried to think like an analyst instead of a mother. I kept telling myself, get the facts first. Feel it later. What I found in that guest bedroom, I didn't have a word for it yet. 48 hours later, I would. Welcome back to Revenge Finally Stories, where ordinary people meet impossible family choices and quietly choose themselves. If this kind of story finds you, you're exactly where you should be. Drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. I'm a compliance analyst at a regional bank, the kind of job where you notice when the numbers don't match the story. You learn to read what's underneath the surface of things. You learn that the most dangerous discrepancies are the ones that look fine on first pass. 2 years ago, my father died suddenly. A heart attack on a Tuesday morning. My mother was widowed overnight, alone in a 4-bedroom house in the neighborhood where I grew up. So I started bringing Maddie over every other weekend. It felt like the right thing. Mom lit up around her. Maddie called her Gram and made her laugh in a way I hadn't seen in months. She'd teach Maddie card games at the kitchen table, and I'd sit nearby and feel something loosen in my chest. For a year, it looked good. It looked like healing. Then the signs crept in. Maddie came home quieter after those weekends. Watchful. She'd study my face before answering questions, like she was checking which answer was safe. One night, she pushed her dinner away without touching it. Grandma's sauce is from scratch. Yours is from a jar. It was from a jar, but Maddie had never cared before. She used to ask for seconds and mop the plate with bread. I told myself kids say things. I told myself she was just repeating what she'd heard, the way kids do. I kept telling myself that for longer than I should have. I was wrong. That night I read every entry in that notebook. Not like a mother, like an auditor. September. Grandma has a secret game. We practice what to say if Mommy asks about weekends. The misspellings made it worse, an 8-year-old sounding out words she shouldn't have needed to know. Words no child should have to learn. October. Grandma showed me my room. She says soon I won't have to go back to Mommy's. November. Grandma showed me a book with pictures. Mommy isn't in a lot of them, but I look happy. I mapped every entry against my calendar. Each one followed a weekend at Mom's. Every single one, without exception. The language escalated entry by entry. Confused to convinced, curious to compliant. I could watch my daughter's trust shifting in real time, page by careful page, weekend by weekend. The early entries had a child's instinct that something was off. The later ones had none of that. By November, she wasn't asking questions anymore. She was just accepting. She had been taught what to accept. That was the entry that made me put the notebook down and sit in the dark for a long while before I could keep going. By 7 the next morning, I was in the car. Mom would be at Bible study until 10. I used my key. I walked past Dad's recliner in the living room. It still wore the dent of his body, exactly where he used to sit, and no one had moved it, down the hall to the guest bedroom. The door was closed. It had never been closed before in all the years I'd been coming here. That closed door told me everything before I even opened it. It wasn't a guest room anymore. A nameplate hung above a twin bed dressed in yellow gingham. Maddie, hand-painted block letters, carefully and lovingly done. 12 outfits in the closet, organized by color, sized for this year. A toothbrush on the nightstand. A stuffed rabbit I didn't recognize propped against the pillow waiting. On the shelf, a cloth-covered album. Our Family, a memory book for Maddie. 30 pages. In more than half, I had been cropped out. My elbow in one frame. My shadow in another. My face gone. Family dinners, birthday candles, Christmas morning, Easter in the backyard. And I was erased from all of it, methodically, image by image. The last page blank except for 2 words. Moving day. Below the album, a manila folder. A business card from a family law attorney. Notes on grandparent rights and guardianship petitions. School enrollment paperwork for the elementary school 3 blocks away. A highlighted calendar with a date circled in red marker, 6 weeks out. Then I heard the garage door open. Mom appeared in the doorway. She took in the open closet, the album in my hands, the folder open on the bed. I kept my voice flat, compliance voice, the one I use when the audit findings are worse than expected and I need to stay clinical. She crossed her arms. Everything I do is for that child. You're at work 60 hours a week. She needs stability. She needs family around her, people who are actually there. Her chin lifted. A grandmother has rights. A grandmother has limits. I picked up the folder and walked past her without stopping or looking back. I'm taking Maddie home. We're done for now. That week I hired an attorney, Pat Olson, sharp and direct, the kind who doesn't waste your time with reassurance when what you need is strategy. She reviewed everything, including 214 messages from a secret group chat on Maddie's tablet, a device Mom had given her as a birthday gift, with an account Mom had set up herself. Mom, my sister Diane, my Aunt Brenda. 18 months of coordination. My phone calls reported back word for word. Plans for the bedroom, the lawyer, the enrollment deadline. Notes on my work schedule, my travel dates, my absences. Every vulnerability cataloged. And this from Mom 3 days before the school called. She'll thank me one day. Maddie will too. Pat was blunt. Your mother's guardianship petition has no legal basis. Courts don't override a fit parent's decision for a grieving grandmother. I signed 3 documents, custody clarification, an independent co-trustee on Dad's estate, and a formal letter to Mom's attorney. Pursue this, and Maddie's written testimony goes on the record. Every journal entry, every message, all 214 of them. The bedroom, the album, the calendar with the dates circled in red. The birthday party was in 8 days. I let them think I was coming to make peace. Saturday morning, navy blouse, flat shoes, no war paint. 15 people in that living room. Cousins, neighbors, Mom's Bible study group, 2 women I'd known since I was Maddie's age, who'd watched me grow up in this house. Mom raised her glass at the head of the table. Her voice wobbled just enough. She'd been kept from her granddaughter, and she didn't understand why. She just wanted to be close to her family. Sympathetic nods all around. Someone wiped their eyes. Mom's friend Patricia touched her arm. My sister Diane caught my gaze from across the room, and her look said one word, fold. I didn't fold. I set the lavender notebook on the table, right in the center, where the birthday cake had been. The room shifted. I kept my voice even and my hands still. Maddie's teacher is a mandated reporter. She flagged entries describing something Maddie calls the secret game. Mom coaching her on what to say when I asked about weekends. Telling her I'd forgotten pickups that I hadn't forgotten. That a room here with her name on the wall was already waiting for her. That Mommy would understand eventually. That this was what love looked like when it was real. The room went absolutely still. I opened the tabbed page and read one line out loud. Grandma says soon I won't have to live with Mommy anymore. I let the silence sit for a full moment. Then I placed the manila envelope beside the notebook. A group chat. 214 messages. The bedroom renovation receipts. The attorney consultation notes. The enrollment deadline circled in red. My phone calls are transcribed in my sister's handwriting. 18 months of careful, coordinated planning. While she smiled at me across the Thanksgiving table and asked if I wanted more pie, and told me Maddie seemed so happy lately. Mom's knuckles went white on the back of the chair. How dare you come into my home on my birthday and do this? I didn't step back. I didn't raise my voice. You planned to do it to me first. I just brought different evidence. She threatened a lawyer. I told her she'd already consulted one. And so had I. Any contact with Maddie going forward would be supervised, scheduled, and entirely on my terms. No exceptions, no negotiations routed through Diane, no surprise visits framed as just being in the neighborhood, no gifts with hidden accounts attached. I'm not doing this to punish you. I'm doing this because an 8-year-old girl was afraid to tell her mother the truth. Because you taught her that honesty had a price. That loyalty to me was something she had to hide. That love was a competition she was expected to help you win. I picked up the notebook, stopped at the door, let the room stay quiet for one more moment. Mom, you're not losing the house. I'm not touching the trust. But if there is ever a path back to Maddie, it goes through me. Never around me again. That is the only offer on the table. I walked out past the silver balloons, past the Happy Birthday Margaret banner, curling at the corner where the tape had given way. In the car, my hands were steady. My heart wasn't. But my hands were steady, and that was enough to get me home. 2 weeks later, Mom's attorney confirmed no petition would be filed. Maddie started therapy with a woman who specialized in children and family trauma. Her therapist told me Maddie was remarkably self-aware for her age. She knows what happened wasn't right. She just needed someone to confirm it. I knew the feeling exactly. Sometimes the hardest part isn't seeing the truth, it's letting yourself believe you're allowed to act on it. That protecting yourself isn't the same as being cruel. Diane called once, 2 weeks after the party. She said Mom was struggling, and that the family felt divided. I told her I understood that was hard. I told her I hoped Mom found good support. Then I wished her well and ended the call. I didn't leave space for a rebuttal. There wasn't one that applied. A month later, Maddie was writing in a new green notebook at the kitchen table, feet swinging, pencil moving fast. I asked what she was writing about. She thought for a moment, chewing her pencil the way she always does, then looked up at me with that clear, even gaze she has. "Our house," she said, "and spaghetti from a jar." I laughed. She laughed. The apartment smelled like garlic and cheap marinara. And it was enough. It was more than enough. Protecting your child isn't cruelty. It's the quietest, hardest kind of love. One journal, one teacher who picked up the phone, and a boundary I should have set sooner. If someone ever tries to teach your child to fear you, believe the child. Share this, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.